Dear Chief Acosta, my cousin introduced himself as the owner of a condominium unit located in Makati City and sold to me the said property. I already paid in full the purchase price amounting to 6.8 million pesos last year. However, my cousin failed to deliver the certificate of title and the keys of the condominium unit despite several demands. Last week, I found out that he is not the owner of the condominium and that he has no authority to sell the aforementioned property. Can my cousin be held criminally liable for estafa? Thank you in advance. Richelle.
Dear Richelle, to answer your question, you shall refer to Article 315, Paragraph 2A of the Revised Penal Code of the Philippines to wit.
Article 315, swindling or estafa. Any person who shall defraud another by any of the means mentioned herein below, by means of any of the following false pretenses or fraudulent acts executed prior to or simultaneously with the commission of the fraud. A. By using a fictitious name or falsely pretending to possess power, influence, qualifications, property, credit, agency, business, or imaginary transactions, or by means of other similar deceits.
Moreover, the Supreme Court in the case of RCL Feeders PTE Limited versus Hernando Perez et al. Through retired Honorable Associate Justice Consuelo Inaris Santiago, elucidated that
the elements of the crime of estafa under the foregoing provision in Article 315, number 2A are: 1. There must be a false pretense, fraudulent act, or fraudulent means. 2. Such false pretense, fraudulent act, or fraudulent means must be made or executed prior to or simultaneously with the commission of the fraud. 3. The offended party must have relied on the false pretense, fraudulent act, or fraudulent means, and was thus induced to part with his money or property. And 4. As a result thereof, the offended party suffered damage. In other words, to sustain a charge and subsequent conviction for estafa under the aforecited provision, respondent must be alleged to have actually made fraudulent representations which, in turn, caused petitioner to part with its money. The fraud must be alleged to have been personally committed by respondent prior to or simultaneously with the payment or delivery of money. If there be no such prior or simultaneous false statement or fraudulent representation, any subsequent act of the accused, however fraudulent or suspicious it may appear, cannot serve as basis for prosecution for that class of estafa.
applying the law and the jurisprudence in your question, you need to prove that your cousin had actually made fraudulent representation which, in turn, caused you to part with your own money. It appears to be the case as your cousin defrauded you into believing that he was the owner and therefore had the authority to sell and dispose the condominium unit despite him not being the owner of the said property. Because of such representation, you parted with your own money and paid in full the price of the property. Clearly, the claim made by your cousin that he was the owner of the condominium unit and he had the authority to sell the said property was indeed a false representation belonging to the category of false pretense that he has property under paragraph 2A of the Revised Penal Code in its Article 315. Such fraudulent representation committed prior to or simultaneous with the payment you made constitutes the crime of estafa. Hence, you may file a criminal case of estafa against your cousin. We hope that we were able to answer your queries. Please be reminded that this advice is based solely on the facts you have narrated and our appreciation of the same. Our opinion may vary when other facts are changed or elaborated. Tomorrow, we'll look into another question from our viewers and readers of Dear PAO. This is your host, Dr. Presida V. Rueda Acosta, DSD, and the Chief Public Attorney of the Republic of the Philippines. Goodbye for now.